This year, difficult one. Let's just hope England win and Brazil don't. Then it's an easier decision. Jude Bellingham Ballon d'Or. Messi didn't deserve to win the Ballon d'Or last year, in my opinion. I think it should have gone to Erling Haaland. Cristiano was miles away. He was a long way out, and I thought, okay, fine. I'm confident that I can save this. But the way that he hit the ball, it was never going to go on target until literally the last few yards, and there was a mad dip and a mad bit of curl on it, and I just thought, you're joking. Well, I'm an English supporter, so we're going to win.
Hello, David. Thank you so much, first of all, for taking out the time to do this interview.
No worries, namaste.
I wanted to ask you first off by starting off, England recently confirmed their squad for the Euros, and some big names have been left out by Gareth Southgate. I think he's made some bold calls. What are your first thoughts on the squad, and how far do you think England can go in this tournament? Can they go on and win it?
Well, I mean, first things first. The selection for Euros final squads is always tainted with big decisions, shall I say? And knowing the manager is ever going to please anyone. I think this time, under Gareth, I think more than any other manager, the understanding of players' availability, contribution to squads will be at its highest than it has before. I think in the past, managers have liked to play and not fully understood whether they're going to be fully fit. I say that respectfully, more to do with technology than anything else. So the omission of someone like Harry Maguire, I think, would have to be something to do with some data, some information that Gareth's got, rather than just a personal choice, because ultimately Harry Maguire was Gareth Southgate's regular centre-half. So I think there is a bigger picture there. Even if there is disappointment on Harry's behalf, I understand that. Likewise with Marcus, likewise with Jack Grealish. I think it's too easy to say, they didn't play the full seasons and all this stuff. I think there is something else, other, and again, data-wise, which Gareth didn't feel comfortable with to include them in the squad. So I'm confident that he's made the right decision in that sense. How far can they go? Well, I'm an England supporter, so we're going to win. The only problem is there's a few other teams that are pretty good that could stop us. So in this conversation, I haven't done any analysis for any games because I haven't got any team sheets in front of me. So at this point of the conversation, England are going to win. I just hope that the squad that Gareth's put together believe that too, and are able to achieve victory.
Absolutely, I think that trophy is long time due. Another question on Jude Bellingham. I think you've seen how much he has grown since he joined Real Madrid. Everybody's praising him, the kind of season that he's had. Do you think he can go on and win the Ballon d'Or? I think it's a bit too early. That's what I feel. But with all that talk around him and Vinicius, and then if he goes on and wins the Euro, do you think it can help his cause going on winning that Ballon d'Or trophy?
Well, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say an unbelievable season. I would say a truly magnificent season, yes, Jude Bellingham's having. And I, amongst many people, I think, sort of midway through the season, were suggesting that there is a potential Ballon d'Or nominee here. The thing with Vinicius is, and this came up, I was at the Champions League final, and there was a group of former players just sat around having a chat, and this exact question came up, and it was posed in the way that if Vinicius wins the Copa America and Jude Bellingham helps England win the Euros, does Vinicius get the nod because he scored in the Champions League final? And I think this is okay. Both countries need to do their bit. If they both don't win the trophies, I still think we're looking at two of the main candidates for Ballon d'Or, and then perhaps that goal in the Champions League final will swing it for Vinicius. But Jude Bellingham's 20 years old. I think Michael Owen won the Ballon d'Or at 19, which might be, I'd imagine, probably the youngest or one of the youngest. But Jude Bellingham did an interview the other day. The question was, do you get nervous? I think it was after the semi-finals in the Euro Champions League. And he said, no, he doesn't get nervous. He just enjoys it. He's at a stage in his life where if he doesn't win the Ballon d'Or this year, I think he'll probably win it next year. I think he's got that much confidence and that much talent. So this year, difficult one. Let's just hope England win and Brazil don't. Then it's an easier decision. Jude Bellingham Ballon d'Or.
Okay. Now that we're talking about Euros and another team, I mean, obviously Germany, they're hosting the tournament, and I wanted to ask you about one particular player, Tony Cruz, the kind of season that he's had. He's announced his retirement, and then now it's going to be his final tournament. How far do you think Germany can go? And if Germany go on and win it, do you fancy Cruz winning the Ballon d'Or? I mean, some midfielder is long time due winning that trophy. It's been those CR7s and Messi's, they've dominated the football for years. So it's a long time due that a midfielder wins it. I know Modric did it recently, but I think, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, the host nations in the Euros tend not to win the trophy, which I'm more than happy about. I don't want Germany to win it. So yeah, I mean, how far can I go? Again, as you can imagine, being in the Champions League final, first of all, because it's Dortmund, but there's a lot of ex-players, very highly decorated ex-players who played for Germany that would be around that area. And we have the conversations. When you look at Germany's results in the sort of pre-tournament, there's some good ones and some bad ones. And all of a sudden, the good ones mean, oh, we got a chance. The bad ones mean, oh, we got no chance. So this is typical pre-tournament stuff. They have talent, yes. I wouldn't put them, again, more and because they're the host nations, I wouldn't put them up there as finalists even. I'd yet to see a team sheet, so it would be obviously a bit too premature to ask. With regards to Cruz and a Ballon d'Or, no. And even if Germany did win it, the idea that Cruz gets it because he's done so much magnificent football in his career would be similar to Messi getting it last year. I don't think it's right. Messi didn't deserve to win the Ballon d'Or last year, in my opinion. I think it should have gone to Erling Haaland. And if the Ballon d'Or then just becomes a sympathy award, then what's the point of scoring 50 goals in the season? They're going to give it to someone who's played 300 games, whatever. Yeah, wonderful player. And again, going back to the Champions League, he was the difference between Real Madrid and Dortmund. His positioning of corners, the precision of his corners for the goal. First of all, for the goal, then the save, then I mean, that was the difference. He is an excellent player, but go out with a bang, but not with a Ballon d'Or, and hopefully not with the European trophy.
Okay. A little word on Portugal's squad, because we saw them what happened against Morocco in the FIFA World Cup, and then new coach, and he's done really well with the Portugal squad. I think they were unbeaten in the entire qualifiers. And Cristiano Ronaldo must be hungry to get another trophy now that Messi's won the World Cup. So you've played against Ronaldo. He scored that free kick against you, that Portsmouth free kick. I mean, that was just sensational. So a little bit, if you can tell me about that free kick, and then maybe your assessment on the Portugal squad.
Sorry, my thought, the first bit?
First bit on that free kick, yeah. If you could tell me something about that.
Yeah, no, well, it's funny because I think it was Sol Campbell that gave away the free kick. And Cristiano was he was a long way out, and I thought, okay, fine, I'm confident that I can save this. But the way that he hit the ball, it was never going to go on target until literally the last few yards. And there was a mad dip and a mad bit of curl on it. And I just thought, you're joking. The favourite bit of this story is I walked in with Gary Neville after the game, and I said, "Oh, he must practice that all the time." And he said it's the first time he's hit the top corner. And I was thinking, why did he save it for me? Why can he do it for someone next week? But yeah, I mean, it was an incredible free kick. And even if I'd have died for it, I don't think there was any way I was going to save it. So fair play to him. And I think recently, interestingly, because I know he went for a barren spell of not scoring from free kicks, but since he's been in the Saudi league, I think he scored 2 free kicks in one game.
Yeah.
So if there is any belief in sort of being hot, then maybe in the Euros we'll see some Ronaldo free kicks hitting the target and possibly some goals. So that'll be one for look out for. With regards to Portugal, again, going back to my my Champions League experience this last weekend with Roberto Martinez. Talking to him, I mean, we were doing some talking about technical analysis work that we do for UEFA, and the depth that he was going into. Understandably, he's an international manager and he's a very experienced manager at club level as well. But the depth that he was going into about data and about the way teams play. Then I started looking at Portugal's record. I think they only conceded 2 goals, if I'm not mistaken, in qualification.
Yeah.
That was in 1 game. I mean, this is a defensive team, and just 20 years since Greece won the Euros with a defensive team. I think when you've got the likes of Ronaldo, you've got the likes of Felix, you've got the ability, Jota even, you've got the capabilities to win games, but you're not relying on them to outgun the opposition. I think you're looking at a solid base, and then 1 goal's enough. It doesn't have to be pretty. And judging by, again, just talking to Roberto, this is a team that are going to be serious in the competition, serious contenders. And I think that at some point, if England want to win it, I think they're going to have to meet them. It could be, hopefully not Euro 2004 all over again. But yeah, Portugal have got a very good chance.
Somewhat a bit like the 2016 World Cup, when a lot of people were saying that they were defensive, but they didn't care. They won the.
I mean, the reality is, Greece is the best example. No one fancied Greece. No one was even talking about Greece winning Euro 2004. Obviously, they beat Portugal. We would have played them had we beat Portugal. But even when we lost to Portugal, it's like, well, Portugal are going to beat Greece. If it had been a bigger country, in theory, then people would have been shouting about it a lot more. But no one cares in that Greece side when they picked up that trophy, and they still wear their medal. So yeah, boring football doesn't matter. Just win the trophy.
And also a little bit on the Belgium squad, there was a lot of talk about their golden generation. A lot of big players, Romelu Lukaku, your Thibaut Courtois, your Kevin De Bruyne. Now Thibaut Courtois, obviously, he has been left out. Now, you being a goalkeeper, I mean, talk me through this. He's considered one of the best goalkeepers in the current era. He plays in the Champions League final. It was a good performance. He made a few important saves, and then he's left out. He's at the peak of his career, and then he's left out of the squad. So obviously, you can tell me better. And then, does that make Belgium a little bit weak, because this is my assessment, they're a very attack-heavy side. They've relied a lot on the likes of Vertonghen and the senior players, and then the experience of Courtois as well. You yourself might have seen that in the 2018 World Cup. So your thoughts on this?
Well, the Courtois one's interesting because I think he was fit enough to play in the. I mean, it sounds like we're talking about the Champions League, but he was fit enough to play in the Champions League final. The question mark was, should he have played, because he hasn't played all season. But then my argument was, he's played in Champions League finals. He is Real Madrid's best goalkeeper, the number 1 goalkeeper. Well, if you start with a number 2, even though Lunin had done fantastically well, I think he just called rank. There is a serious pecking order in Real Madrid. So when Thibaut wants to play, he plays. That's fine. They won, as you say, mate. It wasn't his most impressive game, but he kept a clean sheet at Wembley, and he gets another trophy. I don't think he's at the peak of his career, simply because he has only played 1 game.
Okay.
He hasn't. This season's been other than, sounds slightly contradictory, but other than a Champions League winners' trophy, the season has been a write-off. Now, for Belgium to walk into Belgium and say, "Well, I'm playing because I've had 1 Champions League game," I think would be totally destructive for the Belgium squad. So I can understand why he would have been left out. That makes perfect sense. Does it make Belgium weaker? No, because they've qualified without him, or at least this year they've got through without him. You say attack heavy. It sounds very similar to a conversation about England's squad at the moment. But again, it's a side that has defensive capabilities. Without ranking every team right now, Belgium would not be one that I fancy to win the tournament. I think they're going to, likes of Kevin De Bruyne, who are key players, have had issues this season which could impact performance. But yeah, Thibaut Courtois makes perfect sense.
And I know that you've backed England to win the Euros. Which team do you think could be the dark horses in this edition particularly? I mean, I remember 2016 when Wales played really well. And then which team do you think could maybe cause a few upsets this time around?
Austria.
Yeah,
I like Austria. Again, defensive. Very good record. Ralph Rangnick. I mean, it's ironic, isn't it? He seems to do better when you leave Man United. But anyway, Ralph Rangnick, he seems to have this side full of confidence. again, and I'm using the analogy for Greece again, even though we're talking about Portugal in one breath, it could be applied to Austria. If you have a strong defensive setup, consistency, I tell you what, if you want, I was at the Europa League final with Atalanta versus, Bayern never lose at Leverkusen. And for 97 minutes, Atalanta did what got them to the final and did not buckle. Greece did it in 2004. Now, if Austria can do this, then they're going to upset a lot of teams. So my dark horse would definitely be Austria.
Cool. Thank you so much. That's all the questions I had. I think the time is also up. It was great chatting with you. Great chatting.